Uhuru. This is a really powerful event. Don't y'all agree? Yeah. Uhuru. If you like what's going on right now, then you're going to love the event that Comrade Jesse just spoke of, the 6th Congress of the African People's Socialist Party, which is going to be happening on December 7th through 11th right here in the city of African Resistance, St. Petersburg, Florida. And at this time, actually, Comrade Kanum, if you could make sure everybody gets a registration form and a flyer that describes more about what the Congress is. I know some of you in the audience have already registered for the Congress, but those of you who have not, which I know a few people out here right now have not yet registered for the Congress, we want to help everybody understand what the Congress is all about. Now, when you hear the term Congress, if you like me, before I joined the party, you hear the term Congress, you think of, white men and some sprinkled up with some Negroes, with suits and ties that get together every once in a while in D.C. In this big white building to basically have discussion and make decisions that will impact the lives of African people and oppressed peoples all over the world. So at the Congress of the U.S. government, they make decisions, for example, like how they're going to use that $4.1 trillion that was just spoken of before the U.S. government owes black people. But they talking about how they're going to take that money and use it on wars of aggression in the Middle East, how they're going to spend it more on building more prisons and sending more police into the community. They're talking about how they're going to basically maintain their control over our lives for another 500 years. That's what goes down in the Congress of the U.S. imperialist government. But when we talk about our Congress, we're talking about a process through which the entire Uhuru movement and as many Africans from the community that we can get will engage in a democratic process to determine the future and the way forward for our revolutionary party of the African working class. At the Congress of the African People's Socialist Party, we vote on the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. We vote on changes that need to be made to our Constitution. We vote on political resolutions to say what we're going to do as an organization for the next 3 years. And most importantly, we engage in discussion on the political report that was written by the chairman to the Congress of the party. It's an extremely important process, and if you could understand the importance of this event and the work that has thus far been discussed in this program, then you know why it's so important that we attend and participate in this Congress coming up right now. So my responsibility right now is basically to win everybody who is not yet registered for the Congress to do so. And for those who have already registered for the Congress, we want for you to become active in the process to build for the Congress and make it a success, meaning we want as many Africans as possible to attend this Congress, and we want, again, to experience real black democracy, where unlike the U.S. government, where you're never going to be able to really have any say-so in what this government does, even though they tell you you get the right to vote for another 4 years, or your mayor, or your president, etc. But we know every time it's just basically the same side of, the different sides of the same coin. But in this process, we said that we have the ability to vote for the future of our struggle for liberation, and therefore for the future of our oppressed nation. So we want for everybody to be there. One thing I do want to say is that as we build for this Congress, our responsibility is to engage in a process that the party calls from the people to the party and from the party to the people. In the process of building for this Congress, we want to get real democracy, meaning that we want the ideas and we want to understand the contradictions that the masses of the people experience, and we want to take them in their scattered and unsystematic form, because people come to the Uhuru House all the time. They come to the weekly rallies with problems, police murder, unemployment, housing, all these problems that impact on the lives of the people. But our responsibility as the party is not only to hear these problems, but to take them and to organize them into a program and then bring them back to the people. And most importantly, in the form of bringing the people into the organization through which we can transform these conditions and overturn these problems that we experience. And that whole process that I just explained is guided by the document known as the 6 the report, the political report to the 6th Congress of the African People's Socialist Party. Chairwoman Penny just talked about the political report that was written by the chairman that lays out, everything that you need to know about the current state of the parasitic world capitalist economy. And not only that, but the report tells us the way forward, how we actually going to overturn the system and win our freedom. But in order for the report to have its true significance, we need to bring this report down to the masses. We need to engage in studies so that the report can become the ideas and the opinions of the people themselves. So leading up to the Congress, we hold in weekly rallies, online studies, and other forums to which we engage in discussion. And we want to come out of that whole process at the Congress saying, this is what the people are saying regarding the content, the political content of the political report. And therefore, this, as a party, this is how we need to move forward. This is how we need to implement what is inside that political report. So this is just some of what we want to engage in leading up to the Congress, and this is what we're going to experience at the Congress itself. So I don't have a lot of time to go into the details, but my task is to win as many people as possible to attend this Congress. Now, and this is open up not only to the African community, but we are at the Day of Solidarity with African people, and we know that part of our task is to win as many allies to our struggle for African liberation as possible, including as large of a sector of the white community as possible, not only to the party, but particularly to this Congress. So first and foremost, I just want to ask the question, who is registered for the Congress? By a show of hands. That's not nearly enough, y'all. Now, y'all just stood up for the chairman. Y'all just gave the chairman a standing ovation. And I took that to mean that you unite with what the chairman was saying. Am I correct? Well, if you unite with what the chairman is saying, because the chairman said himself that this theory of African internationalism is not just a theory to explain the world, it's a theory to change the world. And therefore, if you unite with the fact that we got to change the world, then you got to unite with the fact that we got to get organized. We got to build revolutionary organization to liberate African people. Am I right? So in that case, why y'all not registered for the Congress, y'all? Because the Congress is the highest body of the revolutionary organization that's going to lead the struggle, not only to liberate African people, but to open up the struggle, as the chairman said, to win worldwide socialism and destroy the system of capitalism. So you got to be at the Congress. It's not enough just to come to DSAP, Today in Solidarity with African People, but you got to come to this Congress, and you got to be an organizer to build for this Congress. So those of you who did not raise your hands when I asked you who's registered for the Congress, I want to know who wants to come to the Congress by a show of hands. So we're going to make it real easy. Okay, well, don't clap just yet, Conrad, because the most important part is yet to come. So, as I said before, Conrad Kanoum, who's been hitting these bricks as part of our outreach committee on a regular basis, did probably one of his most important outreach tasks by handing you this form right here and this flyer right here. The flyer tells you what the Congress is, when it's going to be and all that, and the Congress registration form tells you how to get there. So, by a show of hands, who is prepared to fill out one of these forms right here, right now? All right, Uhuru. All right, Uhuru. All right, that's not enough, though. We're not satisfied, but I know that we have organizers, USM organizers, that's working the crowd and doing their own form of outreach. So we want to make sure that everybody that raised their hands saying that you're not registered, I hope that our organizers took note of those who did not raise their hands, and especially the man that said he wants to come to the Congress. We got to reach out to them. And but the thing I want to say also before I step down is that we want justice for Javon Dawson. You know what I mean? We want justice for Javon Dawson. We want justice for Tyrone Lewis. These are not cases that's just like buried in the past and, we forgot about it, let's move on with our lives. But we understand that until we win justice for Tyrone Lewis, until we win justice for Javon Dawson, until we win justice for every African that's been murdered by every white nationalist and every police in this country and around the world, that we can never really say that we have liberation and social justice. And we can never really say that the police don't have the ability to walk up to me or any African in this room and literally blow our brains out and walk away and get away with it. So we committed not only to building this movement, but to fighting and winning the struggle to get justice for Javon Dawson, Tyrone Lewis, Markel McCullough, and every African whose life has been stolen from this imperialist state. So, and I say that to say that part of one of the most important tasks of the Congress is to conduct a concrete, practical workshop that says how we're going to organize this African community to turn it into a fighting community. Not only in St. Petersburg, but throughout the world. We're going to be engaged in concrete training on how to do the work necessary to organize block by block by block. You know what I mean? So that when the police come in our community, they know that it will be consequences if they lay their hands on another African. Or a white man named George Zimmerman, or that recent one of Dallas, Brian Cloninger, or any other white nationalist who even thinks about laying his fingers on another African, they would think twice, because they know that when they come into the south side of St. Pete, they're coming into a well-organized community that's committed to protecting and defending this community. So that's a very large part of what we're talking about doing in this Congress, organizing the African community and putting forth a concrete plan of action, strategy, and protocols that show our forces out in the world how to do that. So we want anybody who's really interested in getting justice for anybody who's ever been murdered, who wants to ensure that their child or themselves can live a life, of peace and prosperity. And you got to be at this Congress. So before I step down, we have organizers in the midst. If you're interested in coming to the Congress, which I hope by now everybody is, then please do come to our registration table, which is Comrade Chimarenga. Well, he was there, but we have a registration. Oh, he's there. There he is, Chimarenga. Yeah. And please do come see us with your filled out registration form. Forward to the 6th Congress. African workers and peasants of the world unite to destroy white power and imperialism. Uhuru.